Welcome to another episode of the LanceScurvShow. I'm so happy to have my dear friend on. I've known her for many, many years. I have the utmost respect for her. She is just a phenomenal energy, and I know you're going to get hooked on her like I am. And a couple days ago, it hit me. I said, wait a second. I'm watching her stuff on Instagram. I see her stuff on social media. And I said, she needs to be on the show. And I called her. I said, listen, we got to do something. What she does is so far and wide. The different things she's into. She's just a very unique personality. And hopefully down the line, we can reveal your Instagram to get more followers on there, because they absolutely love you. You never know what you're going to get with her, but it's always going to be truth. She's just so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you will get with me.
So let me just say, the world according to Beatrice Noel. Let me introduce my dear friend Beatrice Noel, and she's going to speak on several topics. This is almost like the down payment on her personality. She's going to give you a little taste of herself, and then as the weeks go by, we'll be doing more and more shows. But she's very unique. And Beatrice, I want you to tell everybody who you are and just fly. Now, me, I'm over here a little sweaty. As you speak, I may pull myself out of the frame because everybody knows what I look like. I want them to get all of you. But tell us who you are, what you stand for, what pisses you off, and everything that's in your mind, rapid fire the way you do when you're on your Instagram or talking to me. Hit it.
All right. My name is Beatrice Noel. I grew up partially in Haiti and partially here. So, most of I don't drive. So when I have to get to work or I need to go, I used to catch the bus, but with the COVID now, you have to catch the leave for Uber. But we used to,
that's how we met. Tell about the bus so many years ago.
That's exactly how we met. Because in Orlando, when I used to get to work, that's how I met with Lance. That while catching the bus. Yeah, and we started we hook up. We started to talk. But the thing is, when you're in the bus, that's where you start to notice, because you have to see people. You see what's going on, and you see their frustration. And mostly here in Miami, like I remember, because I used to work at the Coast Guard, and when people are so frustrated, and it's when you start reading the news, then you know why. Like, for example, was it like 3 or 4 years ago? Like, there was a group of Haitian workers who sued Fontainebleau. Because, for example, there's Fisher Island where all the multi-billionaire live, but you don't know what's going on behind the scene. Those people, when they have money like that, they're extremely abusive. Right. So, that's why I want to hit in, to talk about what people are not talking about at all. Like, for example, I like to watch the Roland Martin show, but this stuff still they're not talking about. For example, I'm also an interpreter. I interpret French and Haitian Creole, and every time, like when they're in front of the judge, I can see the mistake, but I'm an interpreter. All I can do is translate. So that's what I need to talk about too.
Right.
Yeah, there's this delusion when people come here, like, they think that, it's just like come in illegally, but there's a lot going on, and there's that too. In the process, like me, I just listen to them for a couple of minutes. But these people, sometimes they're stuck in the prison for 2 years, and so then I talk with the judge, and we started hearing about people killing themselves. There's a lot of suicide, a lot of sexual abuse going on in the prison too, especially towards Black and brown people. So we're gonna need to address that too. So I'm glad that I'm in your platform. It's a bigger platform, and all those issues that everybody else forgetting about, we can talk about. And there's also that's why I decided to become a psychologist, because there's with my spiritual experience, I understand that we Black people, we are really connected to the spiritual world. So when our ancestors, they started bringing us here, so what they did to disconnect us completely from where we came from, they shaved our hair, because the way you braid your hair says what tribe you come from. The way you dress say what tribe you come from. But it's not only that, there's a spiritual connection, like with all the ancestors. There's that too. As an interpreter, I realized that, because like there's some mothers with their children that come from Africa or from Haiti, they said the child was fine. But once the child is here, the child goes berserk. And when I asked my mom, because my mom was initiated in voodoo, although she doesn't practice, but she still was initiated as a child. And she said probably there's this spirit connection, and those people, usually that in Haitian, it's really true. And as some African countries, it's true too. Like they're used to serve the spirits, but once they got what they want, they just cut the connection. But it doesn't work like that.
Wow. No, but that's all interesting.
Even though you think of a question, the connection is not, it's still there. So I think all the mental illness and problems the Black community is experiencing here, in the West, has something to do with this. I think we're supposed to stay connected with the spirits. I don't even, it's your choice. You don't have to serve them, but be aware that they do exist and there is a spiritual connection.
But we should embrace them, though. We should embrace them because that's part of it.
Exactly. It's part of you. Yeah, you should accept. Like, for example, but my mom, like, before she never used to talk about it because there's a lot of bad stuff that happened in her family. Like my great granduncle was a warlock. He was so powerful that president would come to him for advice or whatever, and he used to master the element in the sense that he would make it rain or stop rain. He knew how to do this.
Wow!
And he said, like, if we tell you would be dead, you will be dead in less than a week. He was that powerful. I'll tell you that how much powerful he was. Like when he died, he left money. Yeah, nobody could touch his money or whatever he left because whoever touched it, they died in a week. So but the thing is, because I kind of inherit what he had, because I think he abused of it. Because in a sense, to me, I think they showed me in the dream. Because that's why I said we have to talk about this too. We have this spiritual. That's why you see things going on in your dream, because even though you do not acknowledge them, they still communicate with you in your dream. And that's why I started to learn a lot of things, even though my mom doesn't want to talk about him, I learned a lot about him in the dream world. So this gift he was given is to, he was able, because they showed me the same thing too, able to see like people's past and future. And in a sense, when you know all that, you know how to suggest, give advice, because you see what's truly going on in the spiritual, emotional, and kind of psychological world of the person. And you can educate the person what they need to do. That's how they trained him, but he used it the wrong way. And that's why he died at the age of 50.
Yeah, and that's young. Yeah, that's too early. Yeah, because because a
lot of people died.
Yeah. What I'm saying is,
he was supposed to a lot of death. So, but that's the thing too. He was doing black magic. I don't do that. Magic comes with a price. And that's the first thing you learn, because I also read the book of Mage. That's the first thing they tell you. If you ask for a life, you have to give a life. You ask for blood, you have to give blood. Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question, sweetheart, because a few of those things are being attempted on me as we speak. I have no qualms talking about it. So it's going to come back to get them, because for some reason, okay, tell me this. I don't want to get into detail, but it's being done, but it's not touching me. I've been working on it for a long time and it's not touching me. Am I protected, or are they doing something wrong? I don't know, but I do know that this is happening. And they think I don't know what's happening. But
video about zombification, whatever. Because when you say the spiritual, it's your dream world. There's a soul plane, like what you call heaven. That's where your soul go. But the only way they can hurt you, it's in the dream world. That's why it's essential for you to master your dream world. You master it, they cannot hurt you. Because even for zombification, before they even start poisoning you, they have to start taunting you in the dream world.
Amazing. Because I'm getting along.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And my dreams are good. Because my thing is that I know I'm here to accomplish a job on a mission. And as long as I stay in that righteous mission and make do with the time I have, then they can't touch me because I'm here for a reason, and something higher put me here for a reason. Now, if I go off, don't do what I'm supposed to do and get caught up in ego, then that's the end of me. But as long as I stay, focused on what I have to do, they're the ones that are focusing on me for something evil. So they're the ones that are going to get swallowed up and they just don't know it. And I know this.
Inevitably, if you keep doing that, because that's the thing. There are spirits and there are I don't call them gods, because there's only one creator of soul, and that's God. So I don't call them God. You can call them ancestors. I call them guardians because they also master the elements. So for example, like I sing a lot of folklore song in Haiti, and for some reason when I sing them, the folk song, I can sense their presence. I don't know. You can sense, like in the elements, you can sense them in the wind or in the water. Because I don't know, maybe because I became more open to them, so now I can sense their presence.
I'm with you on that. Because I'm very intuitive. And I tell you, when I was driving the bus, I could feel people. I could feel when they're evil. I could feel all of that. And that's why I would have to keep myself in a protective mindset where I don't really engage with these that I see. They could be smiling and be evil and look evil and be nice people. I've had people get on my bus. I've had people get on my bus where,
like, that's why I said pay attention to that too. You need to pay attention to the vibes. Like you can sense when somebody like, even if you didn't, because me, I don't even need to meet the person. I can sense already, like if there's evil intention or good intention. So I never used to pay attention to it, but every time I would get hurt. So now I started to learn to pay attention to those vibes, and accordingly, you can prepare yourself for that.
That's right. Wow. I want you to reach out to our Haitian brothers and sisters and give them a minute or two of talking to them in the Creole language. I don't want to miss. They may be here and say, man, they may not even know English, but talk to them for a minute or two and come on back to the English, whatever you want to say.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So when sometimes c'est que bien content yo bon plateforme là pour me parler, parce que grand pile conversation qui besoin fait. Ça me bada quoi, c'est que tout temps comme si pour ça m'a expliqué là bas spirituel ça des bas diable des bas vaudou. Non, c'est pas ça qu'a privé. Parce que moun noir africain nous avons connexion spirituelle. Okay, so for li temps pour reconnaître li. Actually, I believe like the pandemic, I think that's I don't know. To me, it's I don't call it the wrath of God, but to me, COVID is a spiritual trial for this world to beckon the world to go back to the spiritual way. But unfortunately, I'm observing instead of us to become more compassionate and more attentive to what's going on. Because in a sense, to me, it's like the planet is taking its revenge for all the way we've been mistreating the planet. Because to me, for example, you can see that because why some countries are less infected than others. I'm not saying that they do, when they do something wrong too. They're not observing the quarantine. They're not doing it too. But there's that part too. Because to me, I knew this pandemic was coming. Because I've been having, for some reason, every 17th of the month, I keep having the exact same dream. I keep seeing like an entity coming to attack people, and for some reason you see people, because he keeps telling me gather water, gather food in the house, and stay inside, stay indoor. That's what the dream keeps showing me. I keep seeing demons coming, and the only way they won't see us is if we stay inside and and close the doors and close the windows. So I didn't understand what he meant, but I know something was coming. So I was even told my family, because sometimes they don't believe me until they say it until me, like, wow, you did say that would happen. So wow. Yeah, but in the dream they showed me, to me, that's why I think that COVID is a spiritual trial. Because even when it became worse, I had the same dream again. I saw demons, but this time I saw giant demons. I'm like, what the hell is gonna happen? What's coming? So, and that's why you see that's the thing to me, because in the dream you told me it's like something extraterrestrial. It's not, to me, that because I'm gonna say it. COVID is not human. It's not. They say it's made, but I don't think so. I don't think it's from here.
Right.
That's why they can find a vaccine for it. It's not from here. Because every time they say there's a cure, it mutates again. It's like it takes by itself, and it's accordingly. It acts exactly like what do you call 0-day virus. Because when you build a software, all of them got a 0-day. The 0-day is the weakness, and a hacker, what he or she does is find that weakness, and we call that 0-day. Like, for example, when they created Stuxnet, what he did is it's a combination of thousands of 0 days that it would attack a specific software. Of course, it's specific. I forgot the name of the company, but it was a specific machinery in Iran. And in order to do it, because Iran is they're air gap, so they're not connected to the internet from the outside. So what the Americans would do, they would pay somebody to bring a flash drive and hook it in their nuclear plant, and that's how. But it's incrementally, because it started with the Bush administration, but with the Obama administration, what they wanted to do, they wanted to sabotage that nuclear facilities to force them to come to the deal that they have right now, the deal that former President Trump wanted to break. So that's why I think this virus, and that's what the virus, a 0-day, what it does first, it check all the system, find all the weakness. So it may not attack yet, then that's what happened in Iran. It didn't attack yet. It took 2 or 3 years. But when it started acting, then, the turbine that processed the yellow cake that just stopped abruptly. Or some, like day after day, stuff are falling apart. I think this virus, the coronavirus, the COVID-19, it's acting the exact same way. Because when it started, it was just a pneumonia. And then they said, oh, they have a cure for it. But then now you find out it can shoot straight for the nervous system. That's why you see some people that just drop dead, because it shoots straight for the nervous system. But then they're like, oh, we got a cure for that too. But then you find out, at first they were saying that it didn't attack, it wouldn't affect children. But then you find out it affects children too. But the way it does is they come up with like some abrasion on their skin, or they have like black toes. It has several variants. It probably is like 10 or 15 variants of COVID now. I think, yeah, it acts exactly like a computer virus. And to me, I think it's that's the reason why I say it's a spiritual and not like biological virus, because the way they've been telling me in the dream to behave, that's why I told my family how to, and until now none of us have been affected by the virus. So I think it has a spiritual thing to do too. Like I think it's the way you behave spiritually, the way you acknowledge, the spiritual, it has something to do with that. I mean, yeah, I'll put the mask on. We like wash ourselves as we come in, we move your clothes. We're being careful.
Right.
But until now, we have not been affected at all. Yeah, because I think it has.
In essence, we kind of bring it on ourselves in a way. I mean, okay.
Exactly.
There's a lot we bring on ourselves.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Whether we smile in public and show that face and act so nice, those of us who might be spiritually wicked or have some things that we're struggling with that we don't want to even try to heal, well, there's a component, because I can't really say, but that makes some sense. And here in Ghana, it's no matter what they say, it's not happening here like that. There are people who wear the mask.
Exactly.
There are people who are afraid. But it's packed up as it is. I'm not saying it's packed up, but when I go to the market, I don't know if you ever saw the videos where I go to different markets and we are all packed up. Yeah. And that's not happening. Plus, they're eating better food. They're not eating the food that is down, like and presented to us in America. Even if they're not trying to eat good, they're eating good by default because of what's here. The mangoes and watermelons, they're not GMO. The air has no what do you the chemtrails? That's not going on here. It's a full sunlight, a lot of walking, a lot of physicality. So and just a lot of upbeat things. So the place is not perfect. We have issues here too, but overall, it's just so much. We're not leaning toward the artificial like those who are just fooled in America. Some here want to go to America or want to have a Western mentality. See, you can be in America and not have the Western mentality like yourself. You're still there, but you are aware of the spiritual realm. You are aware of what must be done on a certain level. So you can see it. Plus, you're sensitive anyway, because when we would ride the bus together, you might be approaching the bus and I
got cut off.
So this young lady is connected. You know what I mean? Talk to me about that.
I mean, I always was since I was, I don't know, 3 years old, I started having spiritual experience. Because when I was in the kindergarten, my mom said they would call her and tell her that I don't interact with the other children. I just stay by myself. But the reason why was because I was living between two worlds. Like I would find myself like here, and then an hour later, I'm not here. I'm somewhere else.
Right.
I was in a different world, so I didn't know how to cope with it. So I didn't know how to cope with it.
Yeah. That age, it would be kind of tough because let me tell you something. I would even be driving the bus sometime, right? And I would go through Universal Studios. It always kind of happened there. That's why I know that on a spiritual level, there are certain places, physical places that have certain portals that I'm not going to say the area blessed, but there's certain areas that have a certain feel about it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm driving the bus as usual. And every time I go through Universal Studios and drop off some people and pick them up, either you go left or you go right. If you're going outbound, you're going to go left. If you're going inbound, you're going to turn down the street and go right because it's a roundabout. Now, when I would come out of that roundabout, it wouldn't happen in the exact same place, but I'm driving the bus. And as soon as I approach the intersection where I would either go straight and then left or go right, I would blank out. Well, and it might be for like a half a second, but it felt like I went somewhere for an hour and dropped back again, and I'm disoriented. Like, okay, I'm not. It may have been like 2 car lengths that I drove without my own consciousness, but I'm dropped back in that place, and I have an inner panic. Like, oh, where am I going? Am I going left? Am I going right? I'd have to look up at the sign inside as it's posted. The one that I changed. And I say, okay, I'm going to go right. But my heart would start racing like, what the hell was that? Because it wasn't just that you blanked out for a few seconds. It was like I was taken away somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And not aware of it, but I came back. It's like it placed me back. So what was that? I mean, we all have these things, but many people don't want to talk about it. For me, I'm very open with the things that happen to me.
Yeah, that's like the sound that's from here too in the West. Like in Africa, like I've been listening to this lady who's a Sangoma in South Africa. And like in Africa, it's a natural thing to be connected with the spirit. It's an everyday thing. But here, I started having, when you're on insulin, it makes you depressed and it makes you suicidal. So that's why I started seeing the psychologist. So I'm telling those things. He started saying, maybe I'm schizophrenic. I'm like, no, I'm not schizophrenic. Schizophrenic, you have to be wide awake and you see things happening. They happen in my dreams, so I'm not schizophrenic. But here, they say you're crazy. But in Africa, they say you connect to the spirit. That's crazy.
Right. That's
it's unfortunate.
Western medicine has no answer for our spiritual ascension. You see? So they want to put it in the box and say, you're crazy. No.
But that's the thing too, because they're the backbone of psychology is Freud. And Sigmund Freud was a crackhead, okay? He was hooked on heroin.
But yeah, see, right?
Okay, so you can what else can you expect from a guy that's saying that God is the invention of men? Well, if it's like here in America, yes. Because if God wasn't an invention of men, January 6th would not have not happened.
There you go.
But in the East, no, it's not. It is not. Especially with us. Black people, no, it is not. We didn't invent God. We know the spirits exist. We know the garden exists.
Yes.
Even if we ignore it, we know. Deep inside, they're here.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. And I know that you're going to be moving along in a professional way in your profession.
Yeah, that's my goal, to be able to connect the spirituality with psychology. Like that, I have a better way to treat Black people. Right. Like instead of my goal, for example, people who said they are possessed. So that's what I want to make my expertise. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's what I make my expertise. Like instead of dismissing them, saying that or they're crazy out loud. My goal is to like take your time and study these people to see what's really going on, so we can have a better way to treat them and get rid of that demon.
But see, you're advanced already. See, other people that are trained in the system and only trained in the system, they don't have the life experience and awareness that you do, and also the spiritual gifts. So they're already like 10 steps behind you. Even when you get certain documents and degrees and pieces of paper, you're already there. Like I told you in our conversation earlier, you don't need that to be the person you are and to complete the mission that you need to complete on this level. You're already there. It's just a matter of a mere formality going through the system.
Yeah, I need the paper. Exactly. Yeah. I need the paper.
You're already that. You know, I mean, how many mechanics are in our neighborhoods who can change, do the whole engine thing and the brakes and change the transmission and don't have a piece of paper because they're gifted that way, right? But that's you. But we do need to bridge these things together, because like what I've read and what I've understood is that when we have issues on a physical level, there's an emotional, mental, and spiritual connection to it. We're all interconnected. So with that being said, talk to us about that and talk to us about what most don't see in the spirit world, especially today. We have the transgendered push going on, the LGBT push going on, and we have this GMO food push going on. It seems like anything in the natural order is not respected, but they must introduce something else. Somebody doesn't like the natural order. What's going on with that in this world?
Well, there's a dream I had that I think it was the herald for the pandemic. That's the first, I had it in August in 2019. And that kind of really reset everything I believe in. Because in the dream, I saw that man stop praying to whatever God they believe in. If it's the Abrahamic God or like the Hindu God, so they stop praying. And in the dream, I saw that the gods started to disappear. They're disappearing. And because they're disappearing, I saw like the angels, since there's no leadership in heaven, so they started fighting. And whoever lost was sent on this planet. And they became men, but instead of like assimilating with other men, they became evil spirits. And they're pretty much the one who are influencing wars or all the chaos that's going on in the world. So that's the first dream I had. And then the dream I saw that even I saw like the Olympian god Zeus, who's fighting with men. Men are fighting with Zeus, and in fact, and I saw in the dream that Zeus has his wife Hera, or Junon in the Latin world, and the fact that he ignored his wife, he lost his power. Even though he's a god, he couldn't fight against men, and I understood what that meant. Then there was a lot of message in that dream, because the first thing I understood is in Africa, before they were colonized, their societies, their tribe, they were matriarchal and not patriarchal. So it's the woman who had to choose who's the king, who's supposed to be, and not the king supposed to choose the queen. It's the queen who puts the king on. You can see that in all their history. For Ethiopia, or what was it called, Nubia, there were Kandakes. It's the Kandakes who used to fight with Rome. So, in a sense, I understood from the dream is the fact that the system changed. Instead of being patriarchal, became matriarchal. I think it created a spiritual imbalance, and that's why you get all of the, I mean, there's not, I cannot say there's something wrong with them, but that's why you ended up with men believe they're women and women believe they're men. Because of that, I think it created an imbalance, a spiritual imbalance. And the same way, like the reason Europe became monotheistic. They believe in one God. It's because of us. It's because 600 years ago, because that's in the Bhagavad Gita. You find it in the Hindu history that Rama came from Scythia. Scythia was Asia and Europe together. And there, at the time, 500 years ago, it was the women again. It was matriarchal. But on their end, unlike us, the women used to do a lot of human sacrifices. And it was so brutal that Rama, that's why they say he's the reincarnation of Vishnu, because in the dream they told him to go to Africa. And he got initiated by us. And what he got, he came back, he went back to Scythia. And he started fighting with the witches, the queen witches. And that's why also, and you know, and Christianity, several religions, because the ladies, their sign was the serpent. That's why in the Bible, the serpent is the devil. And for Rama, their sign was the eagle or the bull. That's why Zeus, its sign is the bull, because it meant virility. It was masculine and virility. And the serpent means negativity.
Wow.
So I think it's all this imbalance that created that.
So what will it take to get back into balance? Are we just going to continue to spiral out of control? Or maybe those of us who get it and who are aware and who know what to do, we're going to be removed from this world. I mean, we're all going to transition, but to be removed from this trajectory and basically the world reset itself, and those who want to go on to hell symbolically will go on to hell and perish somehow, some way. Is that going to be it? Can everybody be saved from this thing? Or is it those of us?
Well, to begin with, I don't really believe in hell. Sorry. I don't believe in hell.
That was a figure of speech, because I don't either. I don't either.
No, I see what you mean, that we're running to chaos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I think COVID is a wake-up call for the world. That's what it is. Because the way you're right, we are spiraling to chaos. We are. And it's mostly because but it was always like that, but now it's way worse. It's mostly because we're dominated by, you know, what they call the deep state, but the deep state is not the government, it's the super rich. Like all this chaos, like for example, that's why I said, like the video I put on Instagram, it's never about democracy. It's always about resources. And unfortunately, everywhere the United States go and say they want to change the system, and they bring chaos. There's no, you know, there's no infrastructure after they pass away. The country is in shambles. Yeah.
But it's the whole planet now. And
exactly.
This is what I'm saying. Like you take a place like Ghana that has their political corruptions, and there's those who are touching the system, those who are into the system, which the system here is connected to the system in America and Europe, UK, whatever. But those people who are out of the system, it's not touching them as much. It's not bothering them as much. They're living up in the mountains, out in the country, living a peaceful life. And the further away you can get away from that system, it seems like the better you can live. You're not part of that vibration.
Yes,
and that's my journey.
You're right. It's essential that we reconnect with the spiritual world. I think that's what COVID is. It's beckoning us to change how we see life, how we see things, and reconnect with the spiritual. I think that's what it is. That's to me, that's the message I got from it. But that's why before I start saying the demon coming, I saw the thing with the gods. It's because we have lost our ways. So it means, especially here, especially, I would agree with Sigmund Freud. We created God, because it's not like a God of love, and it's a materialistic God, because it makes no sense. Right. Yeah, because it makes no sense. For example, the pastors. Why you have to be a multimillionaire? I mean, especially because me, I'm against it. You know, even though I talk about spiritual thing, I don't want to be paid for it, because once you get paid for it, it's no longer the truth.
But you're spiritual. You're not into the religious aspect. Religion and spirituality are two different things. You know what I mean?
Because it's not supposed to be that. Because you're supposed to give people the freedom to choose what they want to believe in. It's not supposed to be like that. Because once you're in religion, then it becomes a routine, then you're not thinking outside of the box anymore. Because you're stuck with the same routine.
It's somebody else's system put together.
Exactly.
So no, no, I know what you meant when you said that we created this God, but I know what you mean. We created a system that we turn around and worship as though it is God. The materialism, the status and the fame, and all of those things that fan the flames of those lower desires, that has become a God for us. So we got to pull away from that. Now we can be in the midst of the system and around people who are in it, but we have to pull ourselves away from it personally so we don't get caught up in it. And this is why it's good to get away physically from it, to be strong enough to get around people who
Actually,
are like,
I did a video like that in French, but I deleted it. I said that. I said in order for us, Black people, to find ourselves spiritually, we would have to distance ourselves from Western culture. Like, because whatever I'm saying, I've been saying it, because it won't make sense to you if you keep thinking about Jesus Christ, and it won't make sense to you because you still have this Christian or Islamic mentality or Abraham mentality. Until you live that concept, whatever I'm saying, it will not make any sense to you.
Yeah, we'll both sound crazy to them.
Exactly, because every time you would refer to the Bible. But me, I don't refer to anything. I just listen to what the spirits are saying. Because it's the same thing too. Like I started listening to this girl, I forgot her name. But she's a Sangoma in South Africa. So I thought whatever she's saying to it made a lot of sense. But then she started to say you have to pay to become a Sangoma. I'm like, girl, you just lost me right there. You know, you just lost me, because the spirit, they asked for no money. So why are you asking for money? So nobody asked you to talk. Nobody asked you to preach. Right. So why have to pay you? So once you ask for money, it's no longer the truth.
I like that. I like that. I like that. That's a t-shirt right there.
Yeah. I mean, like me, I rather like sell antique. I sell antique. You know, I will sell stuff on eBay, but that has nothing to do with spirituality. You know, because when I sell stuff for free on YouTube.
You gotta sustain yourself. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean that you're evil, because we're in it. We're here, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. I have so many more things to ask you, and we never set like a time limit or anything. We can go with the flow, but I just want this to be
like segment. We could do that. Like one day we talk about the psychological problems, and one day we talk about the spiritual. One day we do the political problem. We could do that like certain day we do political, certain day we do spiritual, certain day we do psychological.
That's right. That's right. And see, we're going to vibe on that, because I'm in the midst of organizing everything with the website, the app, the social media platform, all those different things we're bringing together, because, you know, I just came here in September, you know, so we're not finished building yet. I'm not settled yet. So, you know, the best is coming, and I want you to be a part of that. So
thank you so much for your
definitely. Yes. But we're going to get together and kind of touch on certain things that we're going to talk about. And I want to go in with a surgical precision, because when we talk about topics so general, it doesn't hit. We got to go in sharp, like a sharp jab when you're a fighter. And that way we'll cover that and this and that and really bring some awareness out into the world. And I want to thank you so much for being on and sharing your time. Like I said, you're phenomenal. You want to share your Instagram, or you want to stay private, or you want to share your stuff? Whatever.
You just either like Google Beatrice Noel, you'll find me, or you go Google my business is Atelier, which is ATELIER, and Atelier Marie Beatrice.
Okay. And what I'll do, I'll give you those things and I'll put it down in the link after. I don't have it down there now, but when we're off, you send me those things and I'll make sure to put it down there so everybody can get in contact with you. But thank you so much, sister.
No, thank you.
I appreciate all of this, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Maybe we can do this at least once a week or something like that. You know what I mean? So
yes, absolutely.
That way we can keep this thing going on. All right, my sister. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you before the day is over. Okay?
Yes, you too, and be safe, and God bless.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Bye.